Welcome, everybody. Hello, welcome to Elephant Arch's Records judging panel for our first of hopefully many call-outs for underrepresented artists. To give a brief intro, we are run by two friends who have always wanted to run a label with the intention of flexing our creative muscles while doing good for local causes. 10% of all label profits are donated to local charities, and some projects are entirely in aid of worthwhile causes. Noticing a disparity in the availability of artists from marginalised backgrounds from South Yorkshire to work with, we felt really strongly about this call out, and taking influence and mentorship from Come Play With Me in Leeds, we couldn't be happier with the response from artists and are honoured to be working with the judging panel we have here. And now on to our celebrity judges. So if you would like to introduce yourselves to anybody who might not know you, I'm going to start with, as you were earliest into the call, Rebecca.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Lucy Taylor, aka Self-Esteem. My pronouns are she, her. I am from Rotherham, and this is very much something I would have entered, 10 years ago, should we say. And I'm very passionate about Sheffield music and, marginalised in general. Like, it's really difficult to just be listened to, so I'm kind of passionate about helping people be listened to.
Brilliant, thank you so much. I'm going to move on to Finn. Finn, if you'd like to introduce yourselves and anything as to why you were involved in the project would be great as well.
Hi, I'm Finn Warman. My pronouns are they, them. And I am the artistic director of Andro and Eve. So you might not have heard of me, but you definitely, hopefully, have heard of Andro and Eve if you live in Sheffield or Doncaster. So we do events to celebrate queer culture for the LGBT community and allies. And I'm involved in this competition because I feel really strongly that music and all arts industry should be more representative of marginalised identities. And particularly with music, there is real barriers for women and other gender diverse people to access the same opportunities and just feel welcome and included. So it's great to be part of this call out by Elephant Art, and I'm really excited about all the artists and quite stressed about the talent that I've had to witness and try and decide.
Thank you very much. Magid, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Thank you. So my name is Magid, and from Sheffield, a climate and racial justice activist and former politician. And I guess the reason I'm just involved in this it was a great opportunity. I thought it was amazing what Elephant and Arch Records were doing, but also I just appreciate all the wealth of amazing music talent that we have in not just Sheffield, just in our region in as a whole, to be honest. And any shape or form that I can support and champion and underrepresented artists as well was just something I jumped at straight away. And fortunate enough to be on this panel with some amazing, talented people, and I'm looking forward to hearing some more music of the artists. And I'll be honest with you, like I'm sure with the rest of the panel, it was really difficult to actually just decide a top three in all honesty. But the talent is definitely there, and anything we can do to shine a light on that, I'm all for.
I'm with you 100% there, Magid. Deciding the top three, I don't blame any of you for finding it difficult, but how we're going to come to one is going to be really difficult even furthermore. So here we go with it. But Christian, for the final but not least of our judges, would you like to introduce yourselves to people who may not know you as well?
Thank you very much. Yes, my name's Christian Carlisle. I present BBC Introducing on Radio Sheffield. In fact, next week I will have been doing that job for 10 years now. So I've had a very fortunate position, very honoured and privileged to be in such a great position. The music that comes out of Sheffield, as you can probably tell by the accent, I'm not a local. I moved down here many years ago, but I think that outside perspective and how passionate about the music from this particular patch of land I am is testament to just how great it is, and I think it's incredibly diverse as well. There are a lot of great artists out there, and it's improved exponentially in the 10 years that I've been doing the job. So to any opportunity to shine a light on artists from underrepresented backgrounds is kind of pretty much what we're all about at BBC Introducing. It's our raison d'etre is to make sure that all facets of the music communities from all across the UK are kind of equally represented and celebrated.
You know what? The fact I would 100% agree. The fact that you're out from an outside perspective is the best part of what we're all about, really, isn't it? We've come together to try and find someone who's best representative of artists from South Yorkshire. However, I will mention, but not all of our artists are from South Yorkshire. We've got a lot of people that have moved here for various reasons, either from university and they've stayed on, or for work reasons. And to go on to no further ado, I'm going to start to introduce our artists. So we've got 10 artists that we've got to decide through tonight. And before we made that decision, we had over 35 artists apply and were blown away by the talent out there. Unfortunately, we can't make everyone a winner this time. And after an initial selection process, we're going to have to find just one from that final 10. But for our final 10, we have got Before Breakfast, a two-piece folk classical act hailing from Sheffield and comprising of Gina and Lucy. They possess incredibly accomplished songwriting and use amazing harmonies to create really beautiful music. Next is Leo. Hailing from Sheffield via a small Dutch village, Leonie plays powerful indie pop in the vein of Florence and the Machine, Kate Bush, and The National. Playing some impressive support slots already, Leo is only on the rise. Emily Marks, Vera Sacrum. Coming from Sheffield, Emily is a classically trained singer-songwriter who has already had tracks played on Christian's BBC Introducing show with her new project, Vera Sacrum. She has branched out into a more electronic soundscape, and she is surely one of the most talented young musicians in the city right now. Next, we've got Rayad, also hailing from Sheffield. I do want to point out here, if anybody knows of a better way of pronouncing this, because it is a Gaelic name, please do step in. Christian, you might be the person for this, but I don't want to rule anything else out.
No, I never did the Gaelic at school, I'm afraid. I'm sorry.
That's okay. But I'm going to go with Rayad for the purpose of this, because we've not heard otherwise. Is a relatively new producer, but their 2 tracks submitted are of a really high quality, producing really funky disco house. The sky is the limit. Nancy Dawkins, originally from Leicester and now based in Sheffield. Nancy is a singer-songwriter who has just come back from a near-decade absence from recording, having previously been played on Radio 2 and recorded at Abbey Road. Her songwriting is incredibly strong and her voice is so emotive. We're very happy she has decided to come back to music. Next up is Holly Redford-Jones, coming from Chesterfield, so just on the edge of our region there, really. Holly has a really unique and soulful voice, and her soulful bluesy tracks have been picked up by BBC Radio, Sofa Sessions, and the Glastonbury Emerging Talent Competition. Oedipus are a 2-piece dream pop psych band from Barnsley, having released their debut EP to great reviews last year. Recording during the pandemic, this is one of the strongest debut EPs you will ever hear. Then we've got Bedpost. They are one of our leading lights in the Sheffield emo scene. For fans of basement and American football, were gigging across the city to great acclaim before the pesky pandemic hit. Having heard their next single, they are only getting stronger. Then we've got Trillian Shower, one of the most impressive rappers in a growing South Yorkshire scene. Jamaican born and now based in Sheffield, his rhythm and lyricism is top-notch, holding his own in the UK grime scene. We love how his Sheffield accent comes out in his verses. And last but not least, the Sick Boy Method, one of the best up-and-coming live acts in the city. Their aggressive indie punk needs to be seen live. With 3 releases last year, they are hard-working and aggressive. What's not to love? So, guys, now I'm going to get onto the tricky bit where I'm going to ask you all to tell me who your top 3 are. I'd love over the evening for us to be able to talk about every single person, but I think just for the purposes of us trying to keep this as entertaining as possible for our viewers, I'm going to ask that we probably only discuss the 3 that we've got from each person. If there's anybody who's not mentioned that you feel that needs a special mention, we can do that at the end. Cool. I'm going to mix it up this time, and I'm going to go for Magid for your top 3. Sorry to put you first there, but if you could share with the group Your top three and your reasons why.
Okay, so my top three, and I'll just say my top three first. And the girl from Chesterfield, Holly Redford Jones, and this is in no particular order, by the way,
Okay.
and Mouse Teeth and Trillion Shower. And I'll be honest with you, like it's I don't know, trying to the reasons I guess, and I chose the three all for different reasons. Like it's first and foremost, I just thought they were all really, really talented, and I can just really, I guess it's also really a case of me trying to vision see, can I see them playing at a music festival? Can I see them? Like I also kind of go on their social medias, and I just really just wants to get more to know more of the person, as well as hearing the music and see more of the person. It was a combination of lots of different things, to be honest. But of course, like with Trillion, I really enjoyed like the fact that he had a very strong Sheffield accent and in his lyricism, as he said, but he's also just, especially in the grime scene, even though it's really mainly predominantly London and focus, we know like there's lots of emerging talents coming from Birmingham, specifically Manchester, and I think Sheffield grime scene is really, really amazing as well. So yeah, he was someone that kind of really jumped out as well, but just, and the whole package, but also Holly Redford, she was just really smooth, and I'm a big fan of blues as well, so I just really kind of like that and feeling as well. And same with Mouse Teeth, and you know, it's just how it made me feel. In all honesty, I know a lot of times I was going to go with feelings and stuff like that, but it was just, yeah, just I can see all three of them really having a lot of potential. All sounded great to see how active they were, and yeah, in a nutshell, that's I guess the reasons why I chose my three.
Thank you so much. Just to clarify for anybody who isn't aware, that Mouse Teeth is the tag name for Nancy Dawkins.
Oh, sorry, Nancy.
No, that's absolutely fine. I was thinking it earlier on when you emailed me, and I had to ask Ben, and he was like, "No, that's Nancy Dawkins' tagline." But yeah, no, she's known as both. So thank you for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think 100%. We've got Trillion with that brilliant voice, that's as you say, so Sheffield, strong accent. It really comes through. And again, to sort of just for giving credit to all of the applicants we had a really large number of people that applied that were from a grime background, and it was really, really tricky for us to actually try and narrow down and choose. And when we initially brought it down, we were trying to think, well, we want to have as much of a representation of a wide range of music. So he really stood out for us as being one of the strongest ones, but there was so many, but it was really difficult for us to narrow it down for you guys.
So you didn't have an easy job.
No. Right, okay, let's go on to Finn next.
Okay, so my favourite three were Oedipus, Nancy Dawkins, and Vera Sacrum. So yeah, they were like, there was two others there. But I won't say, but it was really, really hard. Like, but I guess I've gone with my gut. I chose Oedipus because I do love a bit of dream pop, like pop with synths and dreamy vibes is a little passion of mine. And that single, Places to Go, it made me bop. It was like, yeah, I could imagine driving in a car and just enjoying that. And for that to be their debut single, I thought that was so strong. And they're from Barnsley, and I really like that. You know, I just think South Yorkshire is bigger than Sheffield, and it's good to have that representation. And also there was a bit of 80s in there, and there was a bit of 90s, and I love a bit of that. So that was... And then the other track they sent was a bit sad and haunting, so I thought that was good that there was more, like, you know, more than just the happy vibe. You know, I love sad music. Like, so that's one of the reasons why I chose Vera Sacrum, because it was so sad and spooky, and I love that. I mean, also, I'm a big fan of people who use classical music in their work and synth, and I could tell that she just, you know, she'd sent two tracks in, and one of them was really different to the other. Yep. And I could see the progression. And for such a young artist at this point to be even going to that, I thought that was really interesting. Yeah, a bit of a London grammar vibe with her. And I even spotted a bit of harpsichord, and I love a bit of, you know, I call it like an ear tingle. You know, like, yeah, when artists just drop in something unexpected. I like that. So, and then Nancy Dawkins was just, I mean, I did that voice and the passion of it. And some of the lyrics, there was a lyric she was like, I don't think it's unreasonable for you to ask me how I feel. And I was like, I don't think it's reasonable. And I was like, yes, like that's just such a great line. Like, don't tell me what to do. And I just could feel that in her music. And there was a bit of Anna Calvi vibe, and I love Anna Calvi, and just, it was like a deep voice and great guitar and a really good like rocky sound. So again, you know, a really nice sort of mix of music. So yeah, that's my choices.
Fantastic, a great choice there. I'm going to go on to Christian next.
Hello. So, judging music is pretty much my weekly job. I sit there and a lot of tracks get sent through to us at introducing. And when it comes to selecting music, I have a bit of a two-pronged approach. When it comes to the show, I just kind of listen to the heart and think what kind of sounds best. And when it comes to some of the opportunities that BBC Introducing offer, like festival stages, I have to take a bit more of a listen to the heart and the head. I know that the right opportunity at the wrong time can sometimes be detrimental to a person's career rather than helpful. So I think that I took that sort of approach of how good is the music and how ready for an opportunity like this are the artists. So my top three that I've gone for are Holly Redford-Jones, Before Breakfast, and Leo. I'll start off with Holly Redford-Jones. I think out of the 10 artists that you sent me through, I've played 7 of them on the show, so I was quite familiar with a lot of them already. And Holly in particular, I'm a huge fan of her music in general. I can confirm, having met her a number of times, she is literally one of the coolest people on the face of the planet, by the way. She's excellent live. I've even kind of shared her music around my friend group, because I know that so many of them are going to be into this type of music. It's brilliant. And I think that her tunes provide a certain element of escapism as well. Like, you can kind of live vicariously through these great stories that she tells. It's almost cinematic in points, like it's like it could soundtrack a movie about travel. So yeah, huge fan of Holly. The other one, Before Breakfast, again, I think I've known Gina for as long as I've been working at BBC Introducing, and probably even longer when she was in Screaming Maldini. So I've known him for quite some time. I love the imaginative storytelling lyrics. They kind of frequently touch upon important subject matter as well, like mental health, body image. All those are some really important subjects. Their track Budleia is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever had sent through to me at BBC Introducing. It's
100%.
mesmerizing. The kind of subtle background nature noises over these beautiful cello and gorgeous, delicate vocals. It's perfect. Gina, I know, obviously I've known her for many years. She does many other projects as well that are really helpful to the city, like Neighborhood Voices, which is a great choir that she's part of. Lucy, who I've got to know through Before Breakfast, fantastic session musician who's done a lot of work with a lot of different artists, who runs the Sheffield Music School as well. So not just great musicians, but also very involved in the local music scene as well. And finally, Leo as well, who a kind of similar story. She's it's not just a case of her making this kind of really beautiful music. She's also very involved in the gig scene and also with the development of new artists as well. She kind of takes fledgling artists under her wing. I think with her music, the music has a hint of like Churches to it, the vocals and the delivery, a hint of Kate Bush. It's a wonderful, dreamy combination that definitely put her into my top 3. So there you go.
Thank you very much. I really like to hear actually how you went about that, Kristen. It was interesting to see how you would think about the 2 different approaches and how you would make your choices. So thank you very much for giving your wealth of experience in having to do this on a weekly basis. No, thank you so much for that. Next, let's go on to Rebecca.
Well, okay, so I thought about this in a 3-tier system. In terms of like somebody just starting out very new who needs a opportunity to even realize the music, a kind of middle point, and then a guaranteed for your label, like they will sell records, they'll be amazing live, they will never drop the ball. So Rayad for me was my first choice in terms of like there's not much, there's like barely anything on the socials, it's all quite mysterious, but what is there is quite exciting, I think. It's quite interesting. And I sort of feel for somebody who's got an idea and there's a sort of journey to get to a destination with it, and especially from sort of diverse backgrounds or minorities, like that journey is just going to be so hard. And kind of I loved what I heard and thought it would be amazing to just reach out and grab them and take them on to the next bit. And Oedipus were my second choice, who I don't know how old they are, but from the pictures I assume they're quite young, and I was really impressed by how sort of galvanized their vision is already. Like I was standing on stages in Sheffield at the age of 18 making some pretty dodgy music, do you know what I mean? Like it took a while for me to get galvanized and focused and really make a sort of concentrated version of what I wanted to put out there. And I think it's quite exciting that they are already this accomplished, know what they're trying to do. It's very digestible very quickly. So them being that young and that good at this already is quite like exciting, I think. And then of course Before Breakfast, who I'm a massive fan of anyway. They are so talented, and I'm really into people that are just very good. Like I feel I'm so relaxed when I watch them play, because I'm not stressed that they won't hit it, you know. I think they make incredible music that's very, very beautiful, and what I really like about their recordings is they kind of don't ham it up too much. Like music like that that's kind of like quite thinky, like they've got a lot going on. They're very talented in terms of notes, which I never have been, but I've always found with people that are very talented musically in a theory sense, they will push it to they will sort of flex, and I often think that's kind of to the detriment of songs. Those guys, even though they are so talented with this, they don't like overdo it, and it's also subtle and right for the song, not about like showing off. Like, and I mean I have a personal connection to them, the choir and I have worked together before, but genuinely I'm a big fan of them, and I think that they are the kind of, I'm always sort of ready for them to sort of blow up a bit, because I just think they're very, very, very good. So that is my choices.
Thank you very much. No, again, it was great to hear the sort of varied approaches of why you've chosen each of those people. And I think that's something that we definitely need to take forward now that we're going to start to debate who we think is the best from all of those. I think from what I can see there, trying to be as impartial as possible, I think the best way forward is that I've circled everybody who's been mentioned more than once, and I think we then go around and discuss them a little bit further. So the ones that I've got is Nancy Dawkins, Before Breakfast, Holly Redford-Jones, and Oedipus. So they are the ones that have all been mentioned more than once. So we've got Oedipus have been chosen by Rebecca and Finn. We've got Before Breakfast has been chosen by Christian and Rebecca. And then we've got Nancy Dawkins, who's been chosen by Finn and Magid. And then finally, we've got Holly, who's been chosen by Magid and Christian. So you've all got 2 people each to champion. So that doesn't make it any easier for any of you unless you've got a number 1. So I'm gonna start with that approach. I think is, does anybody have one out of their chosen 2 now that is their number 1?
Oh,
them.
Live.
Can you give us more of a steer on what you want?
Oh, I would love to do that. But I feel that, well, we've said from the start that I'm here as a chairperson to not be directing the vote.
Just a quick question, Alice. In terms of, okay, not you, Elephant and Records, right? As a record label, like, what are your aims and objectives? Like, what is kind of what it is that you're kind of looking for, and you're looking to represent because I guess like it's what we want to do is, of course, we're going to choose a certain people. We also want to kind of make sure that it's fit for you as well. But if you know what I'm saying.
No. Okay, I feel I can answer that question. That's fair. So we want to be eclectic. We don't want to have a genre that is staple to us. So our first band that we've been working with since August last year is a pop punk band, which we haven't got anybody in that selection now that fits that. So that's fine, because I mean, if somebody came through that fit that bill, we were really happy to put them through if they were good enough. But again, that's it. It has to be that they're good enough and that they're ready to start making that music at this time. So in terms of where we want to go as a record label and what we're wanting to get out of this, is that we're trying to find the next person that we think is going to blow up to a degree, or that we can give the support and the sort of help to actually start to make progress into getting to that next stage. So if it was to be somebody who is just starting, we're going to give them a slightly different package. Now, we wanted it to be very much that we were impartial in this competition, because it's a funded project by Launchpad Music and Leeds. So we felt that as we are not seeking to make profit from this, it's not a profit made exercise for us. It's really for us, it's our first chance of doing what we're hoping to do over a few more times, actually. Well, quite a lot. We want to run this sort of competition once, twice a year, maybe targeting different groups, and different sort of things that we want, different initiatives that we want to get put forwards in the music scene as it evolves over the next few years. But we wanted to have the opportunity to get our own taste of mentoring and helping someone to grow. But that, as I say, that could be at whatever stage they are. So it could be somebody who's already peaking, and we wanted to have that opportunity to then work with somebody, because we've not had that opportunity yet to work with somebody who's right at the top of their game, just about to break through. But then in the same breath, we also wanted to have the opportunity to continue to work with somebody who's of a sort of more midpoint or early level of their career. I know I'm not quite answering and giving it as specific as what you want, but it could be that we find two people that we can't decide between, and we then decide that we're going to split it on not necessarily who wins the overall prize, but we maybe give a second prize to someone who we think isn't quite going to be the best one for selling a record, but we could give them other things. So that might be that we could work with them on enhancing their profile online. It could be that we work with them on how to promote themselves better and how to get better press reception and how to mix and master their tracks a little bit better, because their quality is not quite there, and we've got the contacts in the industry to help them with that.
If I may make a suggestion on that point, Alistair, just from the four that have kind of come through, with it being Nancy Dawkins, Before Breakfast, Holly Redford-Jones and Oedipus. Mm-hmm. I'll pitch this to the rest of you guys as well, see what you think. There's two acts there that are kind of at a fledgling point of their music career, and there's two acts there that are they sit a bit above. If, for example, if you're looking at like Spotify plays, Before Breakfast, Holly Redford-Jones. I mean, Before Breakfast are on overall near 250,000. Holly Redford-Jones on 95,000. The other two acts, Nancy and Oedipus, still fantastic acts, but just kind of at that fledgling point of their career. Mm-hmm. So if you were looking for somebody to work with that you're going to release their music and go through that route of somebody who's slightly, at that point, then it's a toss-up between Before Breakfast and Holly Redford-Jones. And if you were looking for somebody who you're kind of like that really early into their career, then I'd say it's between Nancy and Oedipus. So you're kind of splitting them off into two separate groups there, Before Breakfast and Holly Redford-Jones, and as whoever's going to win, and then Oedipus and Nancy Dawkins as kind of runner-up-ish, it's somebody who you'll still be supporting. I don't know. What does everyone else think?
Can I make a suggestion? So do you know, okay, I agree with those two kind of groups. what about if we were to choose one person from one of the groups or one person of the other group?
Yeah.
And then it'll come down to the final two that way.
Yeah.
Just to kind of like a knockout set. And then we'll basically have another discussion round and then just...
100% agree with that, yes.
Because I sort of feel like, because some of the acts mentioned were just on my, you know, I mean, I really had a top 5, to be honest. And one of the acts mentioned was in that. And I really, really loved one of their tracks. So, you know, for me, but I really love one of the other artist tracks, but they fit into 2 categories. So that's quite good, Magid. That's a good...
Yeah.
That feels less stressful.
Yes. Let's relieve the pressure and let's go down it that route. I think maybe it would be easiest then if we, well, neither of this is easy, but if we start with, let's go for the 2 sort of fledglings, if that's the term we're going to go with. Let's go for Oedipus and Nancy Dawkins, so the 2 that are sort of rising in their careers a bit more. Early starters.
As somebody who picked neither on my top 3, I'd personally go for Oedipus. I think the points that have been made about their music so far are really, really on it. Honestly, they were so close to making them in my top 3. They're one of the most exciting new bands that we've had sending music through to the uploader. Great energy. Just, I'll throw in my 2 cents there.
Thank you very much. Anybody else feel like they're ready?
Well, I mean, they were on mine, and I really like them, and I don't know, I struggle with music sometimes. I find because it's like my life, sometimes I don't want anything to do with it. It's so weird, like, but genuinely, like, I would buy a ticket. Well, I would try and get on a guest list to see that show, and I like would like them to play with me, and like I genuinely think they're very good, and I'm just so impressed by how good they are already.
Yeah, for their age, they
very exciting. And like I mean, relating it to myself just because that's all I do all the time, but like I had the space to grow and get better because of the Sheffield music scene at the time. Like there was so many bars, so many open mic nights, so many people. Like we used to make a split on the door of like Boardwalk, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's none of that is there anymore, and I fear people like the guys in Oedipus are gonna, because they, you know, they're a band, there's more of them, it's gonna cost more to sort of get going. Like I you know, I think people will pack it in and not sort of grow and get better, and the fact that they're that good already.
Yeah.
Also, I'm a real people pleaser, so if everybody else wants something else, I'll just be like, okay.
Do you know where I see this going? I think this is going to be a tie because it was me and Finn that chose the other end.
Well, no, because Finn has...
I chose both.
Oh, did you choose both, Finn?
Yeah,
okay, the deciding vote will come to you because I'm going to go with Nancy, basically.
Okay.
And the reason I'm going with Nancy is honestly just... even just, I know, like, not basing it, like, first of all, like, it's her music, I just gravitate towards, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Her vocals, her lyrics, everything, it just kind of really, I can just see her going really, really far. But also even literally just seeing the kind of like how engaged she is with music as well, just on a social media platform, on Instagram and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm just a big fan, and in all honesty, and I can really, and that's not to say Oedipus aren't great. Like, it's not like, I'm not like, this weird band, they're also talented, but it's just, if I was to dare say who I believe had the X factor out of the 2, I'd probably say, and what's the name?
Nancy.
Nancy. And over to you.
It's all good.
Thanks, Magid.
This is tense.
Okay.
Dear me. Well, I'm gonna have to do a bit of head and heart because, you know, I do understand the challenges, particularly for bands and musicians, to get noticed, to be able to pay everyone, to put on a gig, to make sure all the instruments get there, versus a solo artist where you can just rock up to an open mic, or you can do something in your bedroom and release it. Like, it is a different dynamic. And in terms of what this opportunity is about, in terms of platforming local talent that perhaps might not have access to these opportunities, for me, Oedipus do have, they kind of, this opportunity could be just so good for them and where they're at. And I do think there's something very accomplished about that single that they've released. However, Nancy, just grabs me by my heart, and I just think those lyrics and that sound is just so exciting.
Yeah.
But maybe thinking about it, you want to see where Nancy is in 6 months.
Yeah.
No, like a year, because I just feel like Nancy's just emerging. And that's really, really exciting. Definitely one to watch. But I think right now, what Christian said about, like, you know, the right time, right opportunity, Oedipus, it just feels like, yeah, just something to just help them along. I think that would be great for them at this point. So I'm choosing Oedipus.
That's it.
That's settled. Thank you. Thank you for making that.
Tough. This is tough.
I was worried we were going to have a tie. Sorry.
I just think you're right, Nancy. Like, it's exciting to see in a year, do you know, like, or like in 6 months even. Like, he's good.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, guys. I think, we were equally torn on both of those as well. Like, there's so many people in the list that we were just like, oh, how can we say no or yes to them, let alone you guys? So thank you so much for that. Right, okay, so we've got Oedipus sorted. Let's move on to what's potentially a more, I don't know if it's more difficult, but they're certainly both the two that are, yes, they've got the largest following. They are both female acts as well, but we have got two women in Before Breakfast. So again, it is a different dynamic there. And obviously the genres are different as well. So does anybody feel that they want to start with this one?
I can.
Cool.
Pause. Neither of them were in my choices, so I feel like I'm like, you know, it's
Christian,
yeah. And I have to say, for me, it's Before Breakfast, because that Budlier track is just beautiful. When you listen to it over, like I listened to it a few times, and it just grows, and like there's something, you know, I had heard of them. I was really aware. I'm obviously really aware of Gina and Neighbourhood Voices. I know a few women who are in that choir doing fantastic work on the Sheffield music scene, but I hadn't realised quite how much like the lyricism of it, and just, you know, and I think people would buy that music, and that's really exciting. And I just think, as well, as something that stands out about it, it's different, and it's like, I like that, because Sheffield is, you know, is different, it's quirky, it's a bit, and I think that represents the city quite well. And also they have obviously a really good community spirit about us around them. And I think Sheffield's all about community and sharing skills and things. So I like that they represent that about it. So for me, it's Before Breakfast.
Cool.
I'm ready to go.
Sorry.
I
was going to say we'll go to you next, Magid, because you've got one choice, and then we'll go to Rebecca, and then Christian. I'm going to let you.
Oh no, because I know what's going to happen here. Oh, this is brutal. Oh, might take a leaf out of the politician playbook. Just abstain.
Keep meeting.
Okay, so do you know, if we've separated both categories, one is like whatever the word that Christine used was, flagelling, I think it was, or something. And then what do you call it? Or people, like, artists is just about to potentially break out, kind of thing, right? Honestly, the two, like, I agree with everything that Finn said and everyone said regarding and Before Breakfast. I think absolutely great. It sounds great, but there's just something about, what do you call it, Holly Redford Jones, like, whether that be literally she was like, I think longlisted or list like the Glastonbury Festival, and BBC introduced. She's literally like, it's, and I kind of feel like out of the two, again, this is just a personal opinion, of course, I just think the one that can really hit a lot of kind of audiences and really kind of go far is Holly Redford Jones. And great vocals, great guitar, great. I just think she's the more accomplished, but that could potentially, I can see playing at festivals and really making it chart and just doing really, really well out of the two. That's not to say, again, like, it's no disrespect to me, and Before Breakfast was equally as great, but it was just, if I had to choose, I'd say, I'd put my money on somebody out of the two, it'd basically be.
Yeah, got an incredibly androgynous voice, so yeah, I can wholeheartedly get behind, as I say, both of them, but I can see why she's such a big favourite for you, Magid. Right, let's go on to Rebecca.
Okay, so full disclosure, Holly was on my long list.
Okay.
I think she's really good. And that's clear. It's obvious. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think things are going to happen for her regardless. I've already banged my before breakfast drum, so I'm not going to bang it anymore. But I will just say, I guess, this is so difficult because you're right. It's like, what do you want? What you're trying to achieve? Like, there is such a big place in my heart to go help people that can't get it going, but also such a big place in my heart to like elevate people that are doing the work and getting there anyway. Like, not that both of these guys are on that journey anyway, but for me, purely as a music listener, I think Holly's really, really good and really accomplished, but I know what her references are and know what she's doing. Whereas before breakfast, like, I'm always quite surprised. I don't think they sound like many things out there. And personally, that's what I'm more into.
Cool. That's fair enough.
Cheers, Rebecca. Thank you. Cheers. Yeah.
Sorry, Christian.
So it kind of puts me into the little bit of a tie-break situation here.
This is hard.
Oh man, this is tough. I think if I was to look at this from the oh god, where do I even begin? This is I cannot even begin to tell you how tough this is for me, because these are two of my favorite acts that we've had through in recent years to BBC Introducing, and they're both those type of acts that as soon as their music comes through, it's almost like a foregone conclusion. It's like, get it into playlist. I don't even need to listen to it. I know that this is going to be absolutely brilliant, because I know that both of these artists are from a background of brilliant musicianship, incredible songwriting, and really pushing themselves to make sure that what they're producing is the absolute best quality. And I think I'd probably go just pipped it for before breakfast on that front. Like I said, well, as Lucy said, I've kind of banged my drum there as much as I can about them. They're just, the music is truly magnificent. So yeah, I think I'm so sorry, Holly. She'll forgive me. It's all right. Yeah, it's fine.
Honestly, it was hard for everyone. I think people are going to understand, kind of thing. And it's like breakfast in bed, right? Sorry, before breakfast. Before breakfast. And yeah, like it's. I have no doubt they're going to be a success. And yeah, honestly, I'm just excited for everyone. But yeah.
As a fan of music that's like, you know, you have to listen to again. You know, before breakfast, I like Holly's sound. It's good, like, really nice sound. But before breakfast is like, ooh, yeah, like what you said, Rebecca. Like, you don't know what they're going to do next, and it's quite exciting, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Right. Okay. Good. I'm glad we've got that bit done without too much of a hiccup there. So I guess it comes down to this choice now between we make a winner that's somebody who's going to rise with us, or somebody who is already rising, and we can get that experience of working with somebody who's maybe just had that bit more experience in the music industry. And from our point of view, as I say, we're super happy for both, but I don't know if I'm looking to Ben right now to see if
can I just request to go last in this, please? Because honestly, they were both like in my long list, basically. Yeah. So it's like none of those two were in my top three, but they're in my fourth and fifth. But it'll be interesting to see what everyone else says, and then I'll.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. Let's go with Rebecca on this one. If you have a.
Well, it's
because these are both yours, so I think it's fair now that I'm giving.
Yeah, I got my way twice.
Yeah.
And now I'm regretting that. I think Before Breakfast is your best bet.
Okay.
But I believe that we should have a sort of, like you suggested earlier, sorry to make more work for you, but
no, we're up for it.
I'm willing to be like, do some sort of, you know, Zoom mentoring kind of thing, or like, basically I'm willing to tell the girl in Oedipus what to watch out for in the industry. But I'm willing to do that anyway.
That'd be brilliant. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Like, if there's a way to sort of give the prize to Before Breakfast, but definitely have a kind of like input with Oedipus and what they do next, is what I'm going to say.
Cool, brilliant. Yeah, no, just again, I hate doing this because I feel like I'm sort of speaking like a little bit like yourself, Christian, as a sort of presenter, and it's not something that comes natural, although I am a teacher for a couple of days a week, so I'm used to having to stand up in front of a crowd. But
it's very weird to be on this side of the interview, to be honest with you. Yeah, it's quite disconcerting.
It's weirder for me to be on the other side, I'm sure. But I think what we would really like to have is that, we do have more than just one artist that comes out of this, and even more than just these two. We want to be building connections with those people. So that was, for us, a big part of this project, was that we really wanted to look out, get to know the scene better because of what we've all been landed with COVID, and how we're not getting to see live music, and it is harder to find out what's going on around us. And whilst we're always trying to get our finger on the pulse, we both work other jobs, and this is for us, you know, something that we're building and growing, but we don't know everything about everything, and we wanted to get to know more about what's going on. So we're very much happy to work with two people fully as much as we can. And one of the things that we will definitely be doing, and again, thank you for offering, Rebecca, is to be offering both of the winners some mentoring. I think it's really just who's going to get the vinyl is what we wanted to make that just one person, because the reason being is that we feel that way they can promote it as best as possible. It might be that the two different acts might be too different and split the audience if we were to put them both on the record. So we didn't want to go down that route. And we also thought it would give a bit more clout to that one person, that one group, one act that had been chosen as the winner. With regards to, what we would also be able to offer them as well is part of the Q&A session, which we hope to have with you guys in a couple of months' time, once we've started to make a few more steps in progress, and the photo shoot as well. So they would both be getting a professional photo shoot as an offer for them. So that would be a stepping stone for either of them. Right, let's go on to Finn.
I think that the act that should get the vinyl release and the bigger prize should be Before Breakfast, just because they are further ahead, have a bigger back catalogue, and just, they're ready. And, even though they're quite established, they're still facing the barriers. And now with COVID, it's so hard for artists who perhaps a year ago might have made it in the last year, but then have had things. So this would be great for them. And I think Oedipus would do great with some mentoring and some of those tips and coaching and stuff. I just think that's a good shout.
Brilliant, cool. Thank you very much. Magid, you said you wanted to go last, so I'm going to go.
Yeah, so make it easy for me, Christian.
Yeah, I'll make it nice and easy for you, Magid. I think that just to echo what both Rebecca and Finn have said, that it seems like the right thing to for Before Breakfast to win the kind of overall prize, the vinyl, the release, and for some for us all to kind of keep a close eye on what's going on with Oedipus. I cannot believe the quality of the music for them at such a young age. So they're going to be one that I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for, not just to hear their new music, but for any opportunity that I can to help them kind of push their career and keep them making music, because it's brilliant. So yeah.
Brilliant, thank you. Okay, well, we've got. Sorry, just to clarify, you've chosen before breakfast.
Before breakfast, yes, yeah.
I just had a brain fart there. So we've got a free vote decision there, Magid. So you are kind of in the lucky seat there, where you don't have to make a decision now.
I would have gone with the same as everyone else, to be honest. I was just thinking if Christian was to say Oedipus. But yeah, anyway, but no, it was yeah. I think that's the right choice, in all honesty, for breakfast, and just excited to see where they go next more than anything else. So everyone's been great, but congratulations to them.
Thank you so much. Oh wow. Okay. Well, I'm a little bit elated. Don't really know what to say other than thank you so much for all of you for being involved. In terms of next steps, as I sort of rambled on before, we will be obviously hoping to meet up with you guys in a potentially a different setting. We're hoping that when it comes to us being able to do the Q&A, with things starting to change, fingers crossed, maybe we could have a live Q&A session, maybe an event. We've been in discussion. Pardon?
In real life?
Real life, potentially.
I'll meet Magid in real life.
Yeah.
I've only seen Rebecca in the flesh once, and she's wearing a fabulous boots car dress at Glastonbury. That's as close as I've got close to her, to be honest.
We've never met. I was only at Glastonbury because of Christian as well, which was amazing for me. So, sorry, about me again, excuse me. But yeah, in real life, love that. I love that for us.
Wow.
Yeah, well, hopefully, fingers crossed, if we're all up for it and able to do it, what that'll look like, we'll have to discuss further down the line. But we're hoping for it to be in a venue. We've been in close contact with Sydney and Matilda, if you're aware of them as a venue. And I think that would be a really great space potentially if we can get that booked in. But we're gonna probably hold off until like the next couple of checkpoints have happened to see if we can do that. So we're looking at sort of May, end of May, that sort of time. Maybe early June would be when we would be thinking about regrouping. But that would be sort of our next steps from there. And then we'll obviously be in touch to see more about, I know that Rebecca's already said she'd be up for mentoring, but anybody else who would be up for mentoring and just sharing some of your wisdom and your help with our two winners there, our first prize going to Before Breakfast and runners up to Oedipus. So thank you all. If anybody needs to say anything before we leave, feel free. Otherwise,
well, I was going to say that Trillium was one of my top rep as well. I loved that track of theirs, Switch Gears. I was like bopping away, and I'm going to be keeping an eye on them, because that is it's really exciting. There is a great scene here representing the grime music, and yeah, it was like, again, I was doing the head and heart thing that we talked about, but they were also in my top, and I'm excited to see what happens. It's great because now we all get to see all these artists and see what they do, and we can support them, can't we? Which is exciting.
Yeah,
Trillium's got a great freestyle over on YouTube. If you haven't checked it out yet, he's just kind of doing it live in a car park, but it's because it's live, you kind of get to see that really great flow that he's got happening kind of in the flesh. So yeah, I strongly recommend checking that out if you haven't already.
The festival lineup, if ever I saw one, Alistair.
it is, isn't it? Well, that's another thing that we've got a little bit in the bag. Is we've been talking to, and I don't want to give too much away, and I'm probably going to cut. In fact, I'll probably cut this out of the video.
What the fuck is it?
I'm going to tell you guys, seeing as you're the people in the know.
Get your own stage, the Elephant Art Studio record stage. There you go. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
That would be the dream. That's been mine and Ben's dream since before we started this. So.
I'll definitely be keeping an eye on them for booking them for Andrew and Eve. Unfortunately, before the pandemic, we did actually have a big gig planned. I can't say which artist it was, but it was going to be really exciting. So, you know, hopefully when this comes,
It's coming back.
It's coming back. Yeah, when it comes back, then yeah, I can't wait to start getting live music going again.
Definitely. Is there anything anybody else wanted to add to about any of the artists, or anything you want to say about anything in particular?
No, it's been lovely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Exciting.
Thank you so much.
Didn't think it was going to be this like nerve-wracking, really.
I've been shaking.
Quite an adrenaline rush.
I've been shaking and trying to not hit the table.
Oh, you've done really well. Don't worry.
Thank you very much. I'll let you all have a good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on this, and have a great one. See you soon.
Bye. Yeah, bye. Nice to meet you.
Cheers. Bye, everyone.